Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this video. Hope you're having a fantastic Sunday, although I am recording this on a Sunday, and it's 12 o'clock noon, which means it could be Monday morning in certain places, and also you could be watching this on any other day than a Sunday. But that aside, this is a very brief update video on the Grandmaster journey, and I'm telling you all about my next tournament. Normally when I upload these, I name them like big announcement. And I'm just gonna tell you exactly what it is in the title. You guys sometimes don't like when I clickbait, even though I give you like what's in the video 99% of the time. Anyway, this is gonna be a video about my next chess tournament. I'm gonna be playing in the Washington Chess Congress, which is October 7th to 11th. Now today's October 3rd that I'm recording this. Normally I give you like a day or two heads up. Now I'm giving you like 3 or 4 days, just so you have time to catch up. So we're going to have recaps of all the games, obviously. The Washington Chess Congress is an open tournament, so I just played a closed round robin. And then before that, I played an open. So an open tournament, I know all the players in my section, which could be like 50 players. I don't know who I'm going to play. The pairings are very random. They depend on how many points you have, who else has as many points as you. Then you organize that by rating. Then you organize it by who played white, who played black, or you do a color that matches up to a person, etc., etc. There's benefits of playing a closed event. There's benefits of playing an open event. The variance of opponents, right? Let me actually kind of go and tell you. Obviously, the link is going to be in the description. But what you're about to see is the entry list. So these are some of the players that are in the event, and then we'll actually talk about chess, and I'll tell you what I'm learning on a tournament by tournament basis. Okay, so this is the section. There are several GMs as indicated. There are several IMs as indicated. Benjamin Gludur is the top seed. He's a young guy from Hungary. He's 26, 28, but he's studying here in the United States. Zhou Jianchao from China, although he travels a lot, and he's been playing in the U.S. Jamil, I think Robbie is also from, like, has the Georgian Federation. There's a few players with foreigner federations, and they get discounted entry and could even get a room, like a hotel room. So there's only 43 players in the section. It's a very small section. So in order to get a norm, a Grandmaster norm, I would need to meet the following requirements. I would need to play 4 of those people who do not have the same federation as the host country. So since it's an American tournament, I have to play 4 foreigners. I think it's either 3 or 4. I always forget. I'm pretty sure it's 4. That's difficult. And even if it's 3, it's difficult. That's like the last thing on my mind. The most important thing that I need to do is score a certain amount of points based on the average rating of my opponents. That's only determined if I'm doing well in the event. If I have 2 points out of 5, I already am losing by performance, and because you have such a low score, you will play some of the lower rated players that will mess up the average rating. So you have to do well, and you have to do well consistently. What I've learned about these tournaments, it's a lot harder to play catch up. You got to strike first. You got to like strike in the first few rounds. All the best tournaments of my life, I get a big win in round 1, 2, 3, 4, very early. It's very difficult to like have an okay start and then slowly build up. That's not the kind of player I am. If I strike when it's like the second round, I build the confidence immediately, and then we play from there. 2 games every single day. That's all about kind of the logistical element of the tournament. Yeah. So let's talk chess specifically. What have I learned thus far and what I've been studying? Some might be interesting to some of you. What I learned from my last event, the benefit and the kind of the negative of playing a closed event is that I knew everyone's repertoire, right? So I could cut a few corners here and there. I didn't need to review lines I wasn't super sure of because no one played them. But for an open tournament, you got to know what you're doing. And American tournaments usually suck at pairing players. Now, what I mean by that is we're not the only section in this event. There's a bunch of other sections under 2,000 rating, under 1,600 rating, under 1,800 rating. So if all the games are done in our section, you know what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to pair the next round. They know all the scores. In Europe, they just do that. They just do it. That's the official pairing for until the round begins. In America, they wait. They wait for people to like withdraw or make a decision about the next round. So they don't have to repair. Sometimes you get your pairing for the next round 30 minutes before the round. You only know who you're playing 30 minutes before the round. So you can't have this mad dash of preparation. Now, the biggest example that I will give you is in my last tournament, my 7th round against Roussel Rouzman. We played in English, and it was this variation of the English. Knight f6, knight c3. And what I knew about this position is that if black plays knight a6, which is the main line, black is preventing the move pawn to b4, and I know knight a6 is the main line, but I knew there was this note in my file on this move to be possible b4. I could have also just played normally, knight to e3 or castles in d3, but there was b4, and I spent a lot of time at the board, not on a5, but in this position, I spent a lot of time at the board calculating a move queen b1. I spent like 15 minutes. Queen b1 is a weird-ass looking move, but the idea is it defends the bishop, creates opportunities in the future to move the knight and attack the queen via discovery because the bishop's protected. And if this knight ever moves and the bishop moves, the queen guards this. Like, it's a really interesting move. I couldn't bring myself to play it because number one, it looks ridiculous. It looks like a completely ridiculous move. And number two, I didn't know what to do when black plays queen h5. Just moving the queen out of the way, bishop to h3 could be coming. And for example, if knight takes e4, then after knight takes e4, bishop takes e4, and something like, I don't know, bishop h3, like I didn't know if I was happy or not here. I didn't know. And there was even one more crazy line. Immediately bishop h3 can lead to a position like bishop f3, you know, queen on h6. It just looks like I'm about to get destroyed. Like, why haven't I castled and why did I put my queen on b1? However, this was in my notes. This was in my notes. Like, this position was in my notes. And if I remembered the right computer line that I had prepared before the game, I could have just blitzed queen b1. You see, I didn't have to spend 15 minutes on it, or I would have just played, you know, more solidly. So there was a lot of nonsense behavior in the opening in some of my rounds, this one being the best example. Like, what I learned is that I'm a little bit too stubborn in my approach of looking at what my opponent plays and it's like, hey, let's go create some chaos together. Let's get you out of your comfort zone. The truth is, more often than not, if I'm trying to take them out of their comfort zone, I'm not taking them anywhere I'm comfortable with, okay? So what I've tried to do since then is really bolster my understanding of like just pure mainline positions and how to play them. Because yes, b4 might be some exotic attempt at kind of taking the game somewhere interesting. At the same time, the main line is the main line for a reason, and even if the engine says it's equal, it's a dead equal position, the plans are simpler. I don't need to spend 15, 20 minutes at the board going, I don't know. Meanwhile, it's just back in my hotel room on my computer, it just says, you know, you should have played exactly like this. That's the purest example. Now, as far as game flow goes, I shouldn't even be spending like 20 minutes on a move in a 90-minute game really anyway, maybe one time during the game. But during my games, you know, I had like a lot of different emotional journeys throughout the rounds. But actually, before we get into that, one more thing I wanted to mention is the benefit of having played that event that I just played. For example, you know, if you'll remember in the last event, I played against Justin Wang, and I was preparing the Queen's Indian. I had mentioned this. I was preparing this, and then I ended up playing the Queen's Indian in round 8 against Theodoro and actually got a totally reasonable position, even though I lost. But the opening was completely fine. So since then, I've just been looking at the Queen's Indian a lot. Like, I've studied all of White's main lines. You know, there's this variation that's very crazy with d5, but if Black knows what they're doing, they're completely fine. There's other stuff here. Rook to e1, for example, just pure knight c3. And knight c3 is what Theodoro played against me. So the benefit of having played an event is because you prep so much during the event, you can add layers to your repertoire. Justin Wang ended up not playing this. He played e4 and I played the Caro-Kann, which I'm going to play probably till the day I die, and probably even after I die. I don't know, the heaven or hell chess tournament, I don't know. So the other thing about my games is that, you know, I can have a tendency to just be a little bit slow. And that's something I'm going to have to figure out during the tournament. I'm going to have to pace myself better and really try to keep emotions out of it. I mean, it's, you know, it's a tournament by tournament thing. Last event, I gained 9 points, but it was a shaky 9 points. I'm going to try to have some convincing wins against players around my level, 2300 ELO and above it. I mean, there's not that many people in this event that have higher ratings than I do. It's a pretty small event. as of October 3rd. So when I do play against these GMs, I'm gonna have to do my best, and we'll go from there. I've been keeping good physical shape. Sleep, not so much. I don't know. I don't sleep that much, but that's just me. Coffee is the savior there. And yeah, not too much else. Working hard on my openings, fine-tuning some of my main lines. Gonna play some openings there that I've never played before. Some I wanted to play in Charlotte, but never had an opportunity to. And last but not least, and if you've made it this far, you're gonna appreciate this, I'm gonna go back today and change the titles of all the video recaps that I've done thus far. Because I know you sometimes get frustrated if I name a video, what am I doing? You're like, what is he doing with that video title? That's why I just assume you guys are following along. So for those of you that take a 3-day YouTube break, you're going to see videos that you don't fully understand the title of, but you can quickly catch up. But if I upload videos with identical titles 9 days in a row, like recap day 1, recap day 2, they don't do that well. If I upload recaps with interesting titles, they get clicked on more, they're treated differently by the algorithm, and then I can go back and change the title so that it's like Charlotte round 1, Charlotte round 2. So forgive me, but it's part of the YouTube grind. It's how we got to this point. Yeah, that's all. Washington Chess Congress, October 7th to 11th. Be there or be square, only on pay-per-view, except not at all. Oh, one last thing. I don't know if they're going to broadcast the games. Continental Chess Association, which runs a lot of these tournaments, doesn't always broadcast the games. So, you won't know that they're happening. You'll just have to watch the recaps, but I suppose that's better for my YouTube views. So, thank you, Continental Chess. Maybe they'll have a board or two, but I don't know. I actually don't know. American tournament organization is really crappy, actually, compared to European. All right, I'm going to go and review my notes. Actually, before I made this video, I was just straight up studying, and I figured I would make it because I'm a little lazy, and it's Sunday. And, yeah, I mean, I have a lot of video ideas, but I just felt like studying chess today. Peace out. Get out of here.